What's up, guys? Oh, I have to go easy on the what's up, guys. My neck is killing me, especially this side. What's up, guys? So welcome to my review of Bioshock Infinite. Like all my reviews, this is spoiler free, so if you haven't played the game and you want to know what I thought about it and if I recommend it, then this video is for you. If you want to know what I thought about the ending and you do want me to talk spoilerific stuff, I will be doing a series of videos, kind of like my talks videos, where I go in depth about specific things or people, which will then tie to the ending so that I could kind of explain what was going on. So I will be doing that soon. And if you want to know just what I thought about the ending, I will be doing a live stream. I will be joining Scottish Warrior 92 in a live stream where we just share our thoughts about the ending and all that good stuff, where we talk about that. But for now, let's talk about the game as a whole and what I thought about it. So Bioshock Infinite is available on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PC, and I believe Mac as well. It was developed by Irrational Games and published by 2K Games. It's a first-person shooter, and the playtime ranges. I've heard people play it from like 12 to 18 hours. I think I probably did 18 hours or so. I wasn't keeping track, but I think that sounds pretty close to what I probably did. So I've seen a lot of people trying to compare this to the first Bioshock, and as much as I tend to do that as well, just because, it is a Bioshock game, it still has those trademark aspects of a Bioshock game, but it stands on its own. Bioshock is one of those games that many gamers hold up here, on a pedestal, because great storyline, awesome gameplay, so they just hold it way up here, and I think that's probably why they like to compare it to Bioshock, because they're like, is it that good? Should I play it? Is it as good as Bioshock? My brother asked me that because he's a huge Bioshock fan. Like I said, I really think Infinite holds its ground as its own game in a Bioshock series and is up there. So I think every Bioshock game has been notorious for analyzing or for depicting a specific theme or type of society, either in our past or in current society, or both. Infinite does the same, and it almost takes extra themes and adds it to it, only making the storyline even more intricate and even more compelling. Some people think that Irrational Games probably took it too far with the themes, because some of the main themes are pretty controversial things like religion, racism, and even bigger things that just top on from theme after theme after theme. And some people think that maybe that was too much, or it was too risky of Irrational Games to delve into those themes. But I think they did a great job at the way that they did it. They weren't trying to manipulate you or anything. It was more of like an analysis. As obvious as these themes were, they were used almost as undertones to get reactions out of the characters, because you almost get more authentic reactions from the characters, making you connect more to them. So it's as much as the themes make the game, but what really pushes the game forward are the characters and how the story is developed. When it comes to the gameplay, I had so much fun with it, and that is weird for me because I am not a fan of first-person shooters. It takes a really good game to get me hooked on a first-person shooter. I've tried many first-person shooter games, and off the bat, I know it's not for me. But Bioshock Infinite, I got used to it so fast because of how enticing the gameplay was. It was so fun. If you're like me and you find yourself like, I can't play first-person shooters, I'm not good at them, I say the same thing. But I got used to this for some reason, and I think it's because it was so interesting. You immediately clicked with the characters. The protagonist, the character that you are, is Booker DeWitt, and at least I did. I immediately fell in love with him. I loved him. I mean, from the look on the cover, his look. I've said this in another video. I'm like, man, that guy's hot. So I wanted to know more about him. He just has this look where you're just like, dude, I want to know about who he is. I want to know what's up with him. And the thing that I love the most about the game is that he's voiced, that he talks. That made it so much more interesting for me. As much as people love first-person shooters because of the immersion, because it makes you feel like you're in it and you're the protagonist, I love games that make you follow a character, that make you learn about who that main character is. And I loved his character so much that I wanted to see him. I was like, man, I wish I could see him at least in cutscenes, or at least when you're talking to someone, they should like go in third person and you could see him, kind of like they did with Deus Ex. You know, Deus Ex Human Revolution was mostly first person shooter, but then it would, when he would go into talking with people, it would go third person and you could see Adam Jensen. I really would have loved to see Booker when he's talking to people, but I think it probably would have taken a lot away from the game. So as much as I would have loved to see Booker, I think it worked the way that they did it. It probably was better that they didn't. And there was like one scene, I think, where you see Booker, and it was a perfect moment, because I think it's in the trailer as well, so this should not be a spoiler. Elizabeth, the other character, the girl, is there. Elizabeth and him, I'm not going to go into why, but they're like falling, and they're in the sky, and they're trying to grab each other. I mean, it's like I think there's like a poster or something like that. They're trying to grab each other's arm or hands. And you see Booker, and you're almost like, for a second, you're just like, is that somebody else? Am I looking at somebody else? But then you're like, oh my God, it's Booker. And it was crazy because you've been in first person the whole time, and then all of a sudden you see Booker, and you're just like, it was a perfect moment too, because you're falling in thin air, and it was almost like that moment of like almost as if you were falling for a split second, like what the. It just took you out of that first person, and then it threw you back in. And I thought that was brilliant. So in Bioshock, you had plasmids, and in Bioshock Infinite, you have vigors, they're pretty much the same idea. You have different types of vigors, powers, and I've even heard that you could combine them. I didn't know this until after I beat the game, so I don't know if that's just a rumor, or if you really could combine them, like you could get electric crows or something like that. I don't know if you really could do that. If you could, I have no idea how you do it, but that sounds awesome. I would love to go back and try it. But yeah, that's something that I read. I don't know if you really could. If you can, let me know. You have a pretty good variety of vigors to choose from. You get them throughout the game, and you pick up a few very early on. So it makes it really cool because you start using vigors very early on in the game. It's not like you have to wait. I found them all very useful. It's not like, oh, well, I never used that one. I think I used all of them in different situations. They're very fun to do, and you also could upgrade them. Not only could you upgrade the vigors, but you could also wear gears, which are like you could wear different vest pieces. Of course, you can't see it. They don't really change your appearance, but you get different vest pieces or top pieces, pants, different shoes, I believe, and hats. So they all do something different. They saved my life so many times, and you find a lot of them throughout the game, and you could choose which one you want to wear. You could just change. You could go into the menu and change them depending on your situation. Like one of them, I think it was a hat that I used all the time. If somebody melees you or hits you, they'll burn. That came so much in handy. I loved that one. And the gameplay doesn't force you to use your vigors like other types of games where you're just like, I have to use my vigor. It doesn't really force you to do it. You could just use guns, but it makes the experience so much more enjoyable to use your vigors. It's just so much fun. And then the Skylines, I almost didn't play Bioshock Infinite because I have really bad motion sickness, like to the point where you could call it vertigo. I have really bad. It just runs in the family, and it sucks. I can't play a lot of games that get me very disoriented. So when I saw Bioshock and the Skylines, I was like, yeah, right. I'm not going to be able to play that game. And then first person shooter? No. So I was going to stay away from it, but then I found these things. I found the C-bands. I told you guys about this in a different video, but they're supposed to like help you with motion sickness. You put them on your wrists a little bit before you start playing. They're not specifically for video games. You could use them like on trips and stuff like that. But I would put them on a little bit before I started playing, and then I'd play. And I surprisingly beat the game. I wore them every time I played Bioshock. I wanted to kind of test it without them, but I felt so scared that I would get sick and that I wouldn't be able to play it anymore. So I was like, no, I don't even want to test it because I was having so much fun with the game that I was just like, I'm just going to keep it. I don't know if they really did work or not, but I was able to play it. I did feel kind of lightheaded at times. I couldn't play for a long period of time. And I also realized that the Skylines, you don't have to go on them. Now, some parts you do. You definitely do. Like, there's combat scenes where you have to go on the Skylines to get around in order to get the different villains, because if you don't kill them, the scene doesn't move on. But they're not extensive, which was good. It wasn't like you have to be on Skylines the whole time. There was this one scene where you do have to go on Skylines, kill all these guys, and then you go through these doors, you go to this place, and then you're not in Skylines, you do part of the story, and then you come back out, and you have to fight dudes again in the Skylines. That's when I got dizzy. That's when I was like, I'm feeling sick. So I couldn't do Skyline after Skyline. I had to play one Skyline run every time I had to play, but that was fine because, like I said, there weren't a lot of Skyline moments where you had to go on the Skylines. So if you're like me and you suffer from motion sickness, I would say get something for motion sickness, either C-bands. My cousin tried out these little drops that you put behind your ear, not in your ear but behind. They're called D-Vertigo. And he said that they worked. He was like, I wasn't using anything and I got super dizzy. He was like, I wasn't going to be able to play the game. And he got the D-Vertigo and he was able to finish the game. I would definitely go in with something to prevent the vertigo, either vertigo or motion sickness pills or something, or this helped me. But yeah, the Skyline moments were so fun. I thought they were going to make me sick. Like, they were going to make me like, I can't see this. But they were the most epic moments of the game where you're just like on there and you're being shot out from all these people and you're just like, and you're trying to shoot. It was so cool. I loved it. The music was amazing, like every Bioshock game. Gary Scheinman is an amazing composer, and just those tunes, those old school tunes added to it, has always made the environment, the setting, the feeling of Bioshock be so unique. And it gives you this distorted feeling, like kind of like this is not right. Like, it makes you feel like something's off because it's this like happy-go-lucky songs, like, you know, that make you want to that make you remember the good times back in the 20s or in the 50s or whatever. But there's dead bodies all over the place, and it's like dark, and you're just like, you're with a huge gun and you're just like, what the hell? It's just that trademark of every Bioshock game, and Infinite has that as well. So I think they do such a great job with the music, not only the soundtrack by Gary Scheinman, but also those tunes that they put in there. And they also did special little tunes that I won't say, but they put special little tunes in there, I think, just to get people to go, oh, I know that song. So going back to the characters, Elizabeth joins you, not immediately, but soon after, and she just becomes like your partner. I guess you could kind of consider this as an escort mission, what people like to call, kind of like an enslaved, or also like in The Last of Us. I think The Last of Us is going to be very similar to Bioshock Infinite with what we've heard. But Elizabeth never gets in your way. She never gets in your way. You never have to take care of her. You never have to protect her. It's not like she could get killed, if you don't protect her. Kind of like in Enslaved, you did have to take care of Tripp. Like, Tripp could get hurt. Elizabeth doesn't. She just stays off to the side and she's like in cover, and you don't even have to think about her because you know she's safe, which was awesome. And she comes in handy. Like, she really helps you out. At first I didn't really notice how much she was helping me. But then, and I played on normal, so I don't know how it is on different difficulties. When you don't have her for like a split second, when she's not there and you're in combat, it's like, oh my god, I wish Elizabeth was here so she could help me. I was struggling. Like, I was like, oh my god, this, like, you really, and I think they did that to really make you feel that separation between Booker and Elizabeth. She's an awesome character. immediately fell in love with her. She's so cool. The voice actors, Troy Baker, amazing voice actor. He does the voice for Booker, and he's doing the voice for Joel in The Last of Us. So I think these are like the roles of his life, Booker and Joel. But and I think they're very similar as well, especially when it comes to having a relationship with a character that's following you. One of the things that really made this game so enjoyable to me were the details. There's so many little things that just make you go, oh, that was so cool. And most of the time, it was those details between the characters. Like, just these little tiny things were just so awesome to me because it really made that relationship real for me. And the story as well, because without those two characters, the story means nothing. So this game is very character driven. The replayability in this game is kind of high, not extremely. I could see people going back to play it twice. I definitely want to go back and play it again. But like play it over and over, I don't know about that. Maybe, but I would see people really playing it over for a second time. But the replayability is in the story, because there's so much in there that you beat it, and once you see the ending and everything, you're just like, oh my god, I want to play it again, and I want to pick up those little hints that were thrown at me that I missed, that you didn't know were important, that you're just like, whatever. But once you beat the game, you know that you remember, like there's these things that are poking at you, and you're just like, oh my god, I remember that. I want to go back and see that. Or I want to go back and listen to that and really pay attention to make the story even more rich at the end. Going into this game, just remember that the story is extremely complex. There are so many themes blended into the story that sometimes you could get kind of lost in how many interesting things there are. But for me, that only made me even more curious and enticed me more to know more and to play it again, because I really want to know everything there is. And I can't wait to do those videos that I told you about, where I go into different characters or different things in the game in order to lead you to what happened, or explain what happened throughout the game and in the ending. So this game definitely gets my seal of approval. It's a lot of fun, it's a very smart game, and it's extremely captivating. So I do recommend it, and if you would like any advice going into this game, I guess the best advice is just pay attention. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.